Yo, welcome back to the channel, boys and girls. In today's video, as part of my build series where I build up my specialized Allez Sprint, today we are tackling cutting the carbon stair tube. Now, this process is pretty easy if you have the right tools. So today we're going to be using our Park Tools hacksaw, and this one is a 32 tooth per inch. We also have our Park Tool cutting guide. We have some soapy water, and what this will do is when we're making our cut, it will prevent all of the dust from the carbon and all the contaminants from entering into the air. Of course, we will also wear some eye goggles as well as a mask. Now, I'm going to actually do the cut offline and I'll return in a little bit. But before we get started, there is a couple things that we have to consider before we do our cut. The first thing is we have to draw and measure our cutting line right here on top of the stem. And once we do that, we then have to account for about 3 to 4 millimeters below the stem. Reason being is in order for the expander plug to go into the carbon tube and for the top cap to sit flushly, we have to account for those 3 to 4 millimeters down below. So once we make our cut, the top cap will sit flushly and we'll be ready to go. So let's get started and I'll return in a moment.
All right, guys, so this is super janky, I know, but it's gonna work, so don't worry. All right, so we have the carbon stair tube, we have our Park Tool saw guide, we have the soapy water, and like I said, the soapy water, what it's gonna do is once I begin to cut the carbon, all of the dust is going to kick up in the air, and so when I spray this will prevent any of that happening. And of course, we have our saw, we got gloves, we have safety glasses, we have a mask. So let's begin. So I'm just going to spray just a little bit in there just to kind of get it started. We're going to go really slowly here. We just want to let the saw sort of guide itself. We're not digging into the carbon stair tube. We're basically just letting the blades and the tooths on the saw essentially guide itself. And just like that, guys, pretty straightforward. So this is what the inside looks like. My apologies if the shot is not super clear. I'm trying to do this one-handed, but yeah, it was a super clean cut. All that's left to do is for me to file, sand down all the carbon burrs just to make sure everything's nice and smooth before we put it back on the bike. And also too is I added some extra plastic and tape around just to secure the stem itself. I didn't want to damage that while I made my cut. All right, let's continue.
All right, so as you can see, the expander plug sits nice and flush on top of the carbon stair tube. Next, we're going to install our spacers, we'll install our stem, and then finally we'll install our top cap. Now, I'm not torquing anything down to spec. This is simply just a mock-up, just to give you guys an idea of how the final build is going to look. So that's it for this video, guys. As always, if you have any questions or comments or concerns, please feel free to leave them down below. And I will check you guys on the next build video. Thanks for watching. Peace.